Can we talk about The Long Halloween? It's the Batman comic that everyone suggests that new readers start with. After making it my first Batman comic, I think I finally understand why. I expected a great murder mystery, one that's inspired all the movies that we love. What I didn't expect was this comic would finally be the one that made comics click for me. So, The Long Halloween. It is generally considered one of Batman's best comics, and one of the best comics in general. And it's also an inspiration for a lot of the movies that we love. Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Batman are all directly inspired by this, so it makes a ton of sense why this is an iconic comic. It was written by Jeph Loeb with the iconic art from Tim Sale. So I picked this one up because I was at Barnes & Noble, and it just happened to be the one that caught my eye. I had no real intention of this being the first comic that I read. I just knew I wanted to read something Batman, and this one sounded like a good one. In The Long Halloween, Batman is hunting the holiday killer. All the while, Gotham is transitioning from the old mafia families to the new supervillain era. Then, along the way, we get moments with Harvey Dent, Detective James Gordon, Catwoman, and Batman's most important rogues. And the one thing I can't stop thinking about with this comic isn't because this is Batman's best mystery. It's because I think it's the best introduction to Batman. Hey, quick pause. If you're enjoying this video and you want to see more of my content, please do subscribe. It would mean a ton to me. Thank you. Firstly, we have Gotham. A lot of people describe it as this like living and breathing element to all of the movies. And now this comic helps me finally understand that. Tim Sale's art makes it come alive, and it does feel like a character that's part of this narrative. It's dark, it's seedy, it's dangerous, and it just makes this city feel unique to Batman comics. Something that they hint to in a lot of the movies, but with how it's written and how it's presented here, I finally understand how important it is to Batman's story and how important it is to creating the villains that Batman faces. But why I love this over year one is because of how Batman is presented in this comic and all of the other characters we get to see. I appreciate that Batman's still new at this, but he's also not in his first year. He's a character that I recognize from all those movies, shows, and video games I've played. He's still making mistakes. He's not the perfect Batman that we know he is in, say, like The Court of Owls. He didn't solve everything right away. He doesn't have an answer for everything, but you can see the beginnings of what he's going to become. And that's why everyone loves this as a good mystery thriller, because everything is not presented right away. We all don't get the answers to the end, and even Batman himself doesn't have all the answers. And I think that's what makes it really compelling, but also we get to meet a lot of the other characters that make Batman the hero that he is. Take, for example, Jim Gordon. Yes, he's in year one as well. I think I like his characterization a little bit more in this one. Again, he's not the perfect version of himself. He's still just a detective. Gordon keeps Batman and Harvey Dent grounded throughout the story. He doesn't want them to cross the line. He wants them to stay within the law, and that helps provide some more motivation for why Batman is the way he is. He has someone that keeps him in line, that wants him to stay the right path. And I really feel like that helps Batman's morals. Batman wants it for himself, but he also has someone else rooting for him and reminding him not to cross that line. The way they characterize him in this comic is the exact way that he's presented in the movies, and that helped me a lot because I obviously have only just started with this comic. So most of what I know about Gordon is from different types of media. So I love how they characterize him in this story, and I love that everything that I've seen has pulled characterization probably from this comic to bring it onto the big screen. And then someone who shapes Batman even more is Catwoman. They include her in some of the movies, they don't include her in some of the other ones, and so it's hard to tell just how important she is to his story. But I was reading this comic and watching Batman the Animated Series from the 90s, and it brings Catwoman to a more central role. She's not someone to just throw on screen for a pretty face. She actually has a meaning for his story. She helps him a ton. You're not sure what side of the line she's going to be on, but regardless, she's always there to help Batman, someone she cares about. And then on top of that, I think it's even more fun that she's in a romantic relationship with Bruce Wayne, because you don't see that in the movies. They don't show that side, how they live these double lives together. And they don't spell it out 100% in this comic, so I don't know if they know of each other's secret identities, but it's kind of like hinted at a bunch during this comic. Especially when Batman is influenced by Poison Ivy, you can kind of see that Catwoman is putting stuff together, because she's not an idiot in her own right. She's pretty smart, and she's trying to figure stuff out just as much as Batman is. And I really enjoyed how much they play off each other in this comic. Even if I think Tim Sale's art of her just looks really, I don't know, just something feels off about how she looks in this. But coming from just watching the movies, And now watching the show and reading the comics, I got more of an appreciation for Catwoman and her character and just how much she helps Batman and how much she means to his story. What I think also makes this the best Batman story to start with is because you get the Rogues Gallery. One of Batman's biggest strengths is the Rogues Gallery he has. They make for really interesting watches on the big screen, and I'm assuming they're going to make for really good reads when I read all those comics. You get the Joker, you get the Riddler, you get the Mad Hatter, you get Scarecrow, you get Solomon Grundy, Catwoman at points, Calendar Man. So it's really fun to see all of them interacting in this comic book, even if just for brief moments. You get to see how Batman deals with them differently, but it also makes the comic feel more alive and a lot more fun to read because, hey, I've seen this face before. Oh, I know that's from the Arkham video games. So it's just really cool to see all of them in this one comic. And you don't need a lot of their lore to understand what's going on. That's another one of the biggest strengths of this comic, is you don't need a ton of background knowledge. In today's culture, we've had enough of pop culture injected into everything that I think anybody could pick up this comic and understand all these different rogues and Batman's story and Catwoman's story with as little lore as possible. And then my last favorite thing about this comic and why I think it's a really good starting point for Batman is the way that Tim Sale draws him. I love the big flowing cape and how he blends into the shadows a ton. I like that he seems like a looming large presence in some of the frames. And I think that helps sell what Batman is all about. In most cases, Batman is fear personified, so making him look larger than life and intimidating helps enhance those visuals for a Batman comic. So I really love Tim Sale's art for that. But the one thing that absolutely blew my mind about this comic was the mystery. Because like I said before, Batman doesn't solve this. And spoiler alerts, if you haven't read this yet, I think you should, so stop this video now and go do that. But at the very end, the last few pages, we find out that the person allegedly that started these killings was Harvey Dent's wife, Gilda Dent. And that first read, I read this in about, 2 hours. I just kept reading and reading, consuming every page because I was so enthralled with the story. And when you get to those last few pages and you see her confess to us, and only to us, the readers, that she was the one that started all this, it was just like mind-blowing. For those who have read this, they know it's Two-Face's origin story. So being a Batman fan and watching all the movies and playing the Arkham games, like, I knew where this was going. So in my mind, okay, this is what was going to happen. Harvey Dent was going to be killing people, get the acid splashed in his face, and then we get Two-Face. But no, it was his wife, because he was always busy. And I love that parallel between all of the men just being so consumed with trying to find justice that it broke his wife, just like it broke him, which is maybe why they ended up together, because they were of the same mindset. She started murdering villains in that city to bring him home so that he wouldn't have so much work to do. And Harvey was so consumed by justice that he became the very thing he wanted to destroy. And man, does that make it such a fun part of the story, even if we maybe can't fully solve it, because Jeph Loeb, I think, left it intentionally vague, because it's not all about this murder mystery. It's really about the transition of Gotham from the old mafia families to the new villain era, which was brought about by the one person that was trying to destroy it. So why does everyone recommend The Long Halloween? For me, it's because of the city of Gotham, Batman's characterization, Detective Jim Gordon, Catwoman, Harvey Dent, the Joker, all of the rogues, Tim Sale's art in a ton of different places. Not everything, I think, was really crafted the way I've seen it for years, but Tim Sale does a great job of presenting Batman in this comic. And then we have the detective side of the story and the ultimate tragedy of it all. And the best part is, this story does not require years of reading Batman comics. Anybody in today's world honestly could pick this up and really enjoy it as much as I have, and so many other readers have. I've loved Batman for years through movies, video games, and TV shows, but this was finally the piece that's made me buy into Batman comics and just comics in general. Man, do I love this comic. It's definitely my favorite one I've read so far. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, thank you so much for watching. It really means a ton to me. If you want to see more of my content, you can go check out my other channel where I do a lot of metal and guitar content. You can go follow me on Instagram. And if you enjoyed this video, go check out the one that's on screen now. Again, thank you so much for watching. It really means a ton to me. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Again, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.